Good morning, traders. Welcome to Morning Update on Tuesday, the 10th of May. This is Mark Owen speaking, and our main focus today is going to be on the Aussie dollar. We're going to have a look at what news we've got lying ahead today. It is a rather lower impact week on news. Nothing of major significance over the next few days, although we do have some medium impact news coming from the FOMC. We've got Dudley speaking later today. We've got the goods trade balance from the UK. We've also then the major impact news. We've got the financial stability report coming from New Zealand, along with Governor Wheeler, which is where we should see some major impact news on the Kiwi. Now, why are we talking about major impact on main focus on Aussie dollar? Well, our main focus on Aussie dollar is for one primary reason. That primary reason being that the RBA cut interest rates last week. Now, not only should that have a negative impact on the currency, what it also does, we'll then have a look at the statement, and the statement from the RBA and the minutes that actually followed 2 days later hinted that they were actually going to implement further cuts should be deemed. So, on a fundamental note, how does this play out for us as traders? Well, quite simply, expect weakness on the Aussie dollar. And then what we would look to do is pair that with markets that are relatively strong. So in terms of strong markets, what do we have? Right now we've got the US dollar, and right now we also have GBP. Looking at the last few weeks trading. Now, on the back of that, we look at, let's just show you actually, let's go to a live chart. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so here we've got the dollar index. Now I'm just going to pop it up to the weekly chart. So what we can see is we had this tip of the wick down here, and we saw the market come straight into this last week, and it actually came straight through. We sent out a word of warning to all our traders saying, watch out, let's see for confirmation. Don't place any dollar strength trades until we see confirmation that this level either is rejected and closes back above, which it did do. And this coincides with seasonal patterns. So we usually see a seasonal strength pattern for the dollar throughout May. If we look at this on a daily chart now, what we can see is we've got a nice bounce off this support level. The market's continued to push up. We've gone above 94, big number on whole number on the dollar index. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a little pullback before we see continued strength. Where would we look to see that strength come into? You could look at something in and around these areas here, where we'd expect it maybe to come up and test this sort of zone here around 95. So we'd look for dollar strength up into 95, and then we'd see what happens. Are we going to get this kind of action where we see the breakthrough, and then would look for a pullback into this before going long? Or is the dollar going to reject this and we see a sell-off? Okay, well, this is where patience comes in. We're going to trade with dollar strength until we hit resistance, and then we'll sit on the sidelines. Okay, so what charts are we going to focus on? Well, we know that through May we have seasonal bias for US dollar and for GBP. So let's have a look at those charts right now. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at the Aussie dollar right now. We can see that the Aussie dollar had a nice bullish move up. We can see it was producing higher highs, higher lows. And then after the RBA statement, we then got a lower low. And this key area here of 73.40 marked out in the red zone here, we can see we've got a clear close below that last night. And if we drop down to a smaller time frame, what you can see is that's this red zone here. Previous swing lows, the markets came back in to test it. We've sold the Aussie dollar just here with stops at these highs. Initial first targets just down here, very sensible first targets. Looking at buying strength, US dollar, and selling weakness, Aussie dollar. And then we're looking at extended targets down here around 71. Okay, so we can see where the intersection of these two trend lines met. We can see where the Aussie dollar sold off. It did miss our initial entry at 78.50, but never mind. Onwards and upwards, we'll look at taking more advantage out of this market. So the next one we're going to focus on is pound Aussie. So I'll just bring this chart up. Okay, so if we have a look here, we can see we've got a lovely clear trend line here. We can see that pound Aussie is hitting this trend line, probably maybe going to get a little pullback somewhere into this region here. If I was looking at fibs, I'd be seeing where my fibs correlate, and it's somewhere in around the 92.20 is somewhere around this zone here is where I'd be looking for the market to pull back into, and I'd be looking to get my first higher low. Failing that, if it doesn't pull back and we break straight through, then what we'll be looking for is a pullback retest of this trend line. So that's sticking on the theme of we're buying strength, which is US dollar, and buying sterling through seasonal bias, and we'll be looking to sell our weaker markets. First one we're going to focus on is particularly Aussie dollar. There are alternative weak markets out there that we can look at selling throughout this week, this month, which would be Euro, Swissy, Canadian dollar. But we're not going to obviously go into all of those right now. Okay, so what happened through Asia last night? Let's have a look at the Nikkei. So 1 second, let me just pull this. Okay, so here we are at the Nikkei, and we can see that we've got this symmetrical triangle formation forming. We can see that it's respected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times on the upside, once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times on the downside. So we've got lower highs and higher lows. So effectively what we'll be looking at is there's no clear confirmation of trend. It's probably likely to see it test the upside. If we are going to see that, that probably means a weaker yen, but let's see what happens. Right now, we had a week of the Japanese bank holiday. So what we're probably seeing is this gap being closed. Once the gap gets closed, then we can see what happens. Are we going to see bullish momentum continue, or are we going to see it continue to the downside? Okay. Other than that, other markets of interest. Let's have a quick. We'll go back to gold. I want to show you gold very, very quickly, gold or silver, because here we are. So silver, let's go up to the higher time frame. Just stretch this out for you. So we can see here we've got a very nice support level on the monthly, becomes resistance, and we can see here this downtrend here was broken. It came up to a significant sort of zone here, which is $17, $18. So we're looking for short trades right now on silver. There's no real technical reason to get short other than if it comes back up and tests 1785, 1790, and around that 1800, looking for the double top where we can trade the price action. And we'd look to take this back down into regions of 15, somewhere in this zone here. Why would we do this? You're probably thinking strange thing to be doing in a risk-off scenario. Well, the rationale behind this is one of our trading methods is to do with commitment of traders, and if this is something that you don't understand, then this is something that you should really get in touch with us about. It's one way to see how the major players within the industry, commercials and non-commercials, so these are people that use the market to facilitate business and people that actually use the market to speculate, how they move the market and how they're positioned. This can give us a big insight on where the next major moves are likely to come. So we see that we're going to see downside in silver and gold for the short term, but it will still give us a healthy profit. And then for the rest of the year, we're looking for long-term risk-off scenarios. So later on in the year, we'll be looking for further upside to gold and silver. Hope that's been an interesting morning update for you guys. For the rest of you out there, if you are new to Phoenix Blue, please jump on the website, have a look at what we do. Our events are coming up. We've got one on the 18th of May. If you haven't yet registered for this event, please do so. It's in London on the 18th of May. It's a free 2 to 3 hour trading workshop where we're going to discuss with you potential opportunities. We'll look at placing 1 or 2 live trades with you. And where you can see what Phoenix Blue is all about. Meet the team. To do that, all you'll need to do is go on the website, click on events, register your details, and then one of the team here will be in contact with you on reserving your seat and giving you the full details of the event. If you think anyone else would be interested in attending the event, please send them a link. Okay, that's it from us today. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, and that'll be with Tom Colley. Have a great trading day, guys. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.